Hi, I'm Ryan Argentieri, founder and host of From Amateur to Pro.com and the Amateur to Pro podcast. Here today with you, small business owners, leaders, executives, managers, and everyone in between to show you some tricks and tools to help you improve your strategy, up your game, and become a better leader. Follow me below for links and more free information and resources. Today's plan is to talk about strategy and teach you how to create a simple, effective plan to grow your business or your organization to do a better job quickly and more efficiently. We're going to look at daily habits and behaviors that may be taking you away from your big dream or goal and hampering your effectiveness. And finally, we're going to look at the gaps between where you are and where you want to be and help you figure out how to close them. Strategy is a fancy word for putting a plan together and setting it into motion. Hopefully that's music to many of your ears. I know you probably heard from quote unquote thought leaders and experts that you must absolutely have someone come in and teach you how to do strategic planning or create something for you. But in truth, if you're a committed and dedicated and disciplined leader, then if you follow these steps, you can put something in place that will really be effective and helpful to serve as a roadmap for yourself, your executive team, and the rest of your employees. So the official definition of strategy is a careful plan or method. It's a policy or directive that helps people stay on track and follow a set of rules and guidelines to get you from point A to point B. So in management theory, and for those of you who have studied business extensively, you might have heard of the decision waterfall. What this is a set of questions that work mutually exclusively and interchangeably. So you start with one, you answer those questions, and then the components work together to become an interoperable part of the whole. This really does form the basis of any strategic plan. And what I need you to understand and take away from that is you can't have one piece without the other. If you do, you're ultimately going to have some kind of inefficiency or problem along the way, because you're going to have only a certain percentage of the puzzle completed. So the first question, and again, this is one that people kind of struggle with or resist when I ask them to focus on it. They just don't want to make time for it, or they say they'll get back to it. Your overall objective and mission. This has to do with your vision statement, your why for existing, and ultimately it's your goals and your targets and your objectives. It has to be clear to you and to everyone that you're working with that you know what you're working to achieve. You must absolutely be crystal clear on this. You can't be ambiguous. You can't waver and say, oh, well, this week, this is our goal, and next week we're going to change it. No, you need to stick to one foundational principle and work that through, communicate it, make sure people are clear on it and that they understand it, because otherwise you're going to have performance problems. You're going to have customer service issues, and you're going to not grow and not have the revenue if you are a for-profit that you expect or that you thought. The next question, also super important, is the where do we sell and what do we promote? This means, are we going to be primarily a bricks and mortar or an online company? Are we going to be a little bit of both? If our headquarters are in San Antonio, Texas, will we solely market to our neighbors in that community? Or will we expand out to be a statewide, regional organization? Will we decide to be in trade shows and play with organizations that bring other people together to promote shared industries or product lines? Do we want to just decide that online is the way to go and we're going to leverage the power of the internet to grow our company and organization? All of these questions, there is no right or wrong. I think that's what a lot of people get hung up on. Like, there are so many options and so many choices and paths that you can take. The key for you to recognize here is that you pick one path in one direction. You test it out for 6 months, usually is a minimum that you want to test and see what your results are, provided that you're collecting data before you shift or layer on. So important, please pay attention to this section. What will we say? How will we win? What are your sales scripts? What are your communications materials? Are you operating with integrity internally and externally and doing what you say you will do? Just absorb that for a minute. It's a lot to take in. It's a lot of work on the front end, or it can be, I should say. It doesn't have to be. You can totally keep it simple, but it is vital that you get a communications plan in place and that every single person who works with you, who knows you and can share about you, or who is a part of your leadership team is on the same page, is saying the same thing, and is clear about what the expectations are and what the goals are for the organization. Another one that I personally have found to be not a huge steep learning curve, but it's sometimes hard for leaders to be realistic about what currently is in place and what's possible. So some people say, okay, well, the talent and the skill set that I need to be successful, I can figure it out. If I don't have a huge staff or I don't have all these resources at my disposal, I'll just figure out how to do it and get it done. Bootstrapping is admirable. It's absolutely essential and it's important in some scenarios. However, in others, it's very critical for your sustainability of you as a person and also those around you that you delegate and that you look at your internal talent pool or people in your network that can help you and come in as whether they're freelancers, advisors, just like temporary staff even, that you make sure all of those people have the skill sets they need to deliver and execute on the plan. So our last and final step, also my favorite, do you have systems and processes in place to set you up for success? Do your advisors, your team members, your freelancers, your interns, your partners, whoever is in your circle of trust helping you make this mission a success, do they understand what's expected of them? Do you have clear performance metrics in place? And are you holding them accountable to reach those goals and hit those targets? If you're answering no or saying like, maybe, then you need to do some work here. So this will unequivocally get you results. If you take the time to do this work, you will improve your performance as a leader, but each of your team members will also be happier. They'll be more effective. They'll be more productive. You won't have to check and micromanage their work. You will just see incredible results just by taking the time to set in place some really clear, simple guidelines. One of my guiding principles is a quote from Lewis Carroll, and it says, if you don't know where you're going, any road will take you there. So think about that as you go about your business, as you plan for the future, as you push yourself to achieve more and reach even greater levels of success than you have today or that you ever thought possible. Be clear, be persistent, be dedicated, and be disciplined about moving from amateur to pro in your professional life, in your personal life, and as a leader of your organization. Thanks so much for being here. You can follow me on the links below and find additional resources at fromamateurtopro.com. Please also join us at the Amateur to Pro podcast, where you'll get to hear from leaders just like you who are just doing their best day in and day out to grow and dominate. Take care.